Hi guys, how's it going? Let me know if you can hear me, see me. Can you guys hear me? See me? Am I live? These things always start so awkward. Just gonna check if you're live, if you're not live. I'm gonna wait a couple of more minutes so more people show up. But good to see you guys. Thank you for showing up. No, we were supposed to have Ukraine update, but people couldn't make it. Right now in all of California, we're going through an atmospheric storm, which is just a lot of rain. But for LA and California, the rain it's not so good. And people aren't used to it, and people act very crazy in the rain in California. But getting through it. It's the first rain we've had in months. I was about to say a year, but so today I wanted to run through the news real quick. That's why I was like, I can't miss it. I have to do a live stream no matter what. Lots of stuff is happening. Unfortunately, not so great, but we'll begin in just a couple of minutes. But let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm gonna answer. I'll be more interactive with you guys in the chat. So, and if you guys like these live streams or just me, maybe I'll start doing them. Maybe because from now on, the videos that I'm gonna put out, they will be on one topic. So it's not gonna be a lot of news from the past week. It's going to be just one topic. Keep it more centered. 1 second. That was not good. Starting out great. But yeah, so if you guys want me to do it, I will do it, where I run through the news from the week, and then the videos, as I said, they will be more centered towards one topic. Which reminds me, new video is out, came out yesterday. I'm gonna pin it in the chat right now. Is Russia collapsing? Please go watch it after the stream. And if you have watched it already, watch it again. It really, really helps to push it. I'm gonna get the link and there it is. Okay. If I knew I'd be doing this live stream on my own, I would obviously be much, much more prepared. So just bear with me. Oh yeah, there you go. Broadcast Cat has it, SSW has it. I'm just gonna pin this though to the top. There you go. All right, guys, let's do this. Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Ukraine is striking strategic and military targets. It's called defense. Russia is striking infrastructure. That's called terrorism. And this week exposed the difference without a single word spoken. Ukraine hits refineries, radar, command posts, and ammo lines. Russia hit Kiev's homes, hospitals, and even an embassy. One side fights like a nation defending its people, and the other fights like a regime terrified of them. This isn't about narratives anymore. It's about reality. And reality is revealing exactly who stands for civilization and who wages war against it. So, welcome to SlavaCast on channel Yarochenko, where Russian propaganda gets shredded and the truth gets the last word, as always. This week made the war unmistakable. Ukraine hit the machinery of invasion, refineries in Oryol, radar in Yevpatoria, a Fifth Army command post, even North Korean ammo on the Trans-Siberian line. This is breaking news. It's very fresh. While Russia dumped 430 drones and 18 missiles into Kiev's neighborhoods. Ukraine is disrupting logistics and Russia is targeting civilians. That's the line. Meanwhile, a 100 million energy sector corruption ring was exposed. I'm sure you guys heard of it. Western media is weirdly covering it like crazy. Like we don't have any problems here in the West, especially in the United States. It's really weird, but we'll definitely touch on that. And Russia's oil revenues plunged to invasion lows. Yay. And Lavrov waved the nuclear card again. Classic panic from a regime losing leverage. So by the end of this update, you'll see the whole map. Ukraine rising in precision and production as well, and Russia leaning on terror because it has nothing left. I do have a video to show you because Russia did create something, and we'll talk about it. In the meantime, smash like it's a Russian tank. Share the stream. Comment below in the chat so more people come in and listen to the news about Ukraine. And if you're new here, please hit subscribe so you never miss when the truth goes live, and also hit the notifications bell so you guys know when I go live or I have new videos coming out. I'm Slavie, for those of you who don't know, and welcome to channel Yarochenko. So I will do questions, but let's do the news first. I will answer your questions though. So, okay, massive Russian strike on Kiev. 430 drones, 18 missiles. On November 14th, Russia launched one of the largest aerial attacks on Kiev since early 2024. So this was huge. I know every weekend we go, this was a huge attack. This one was insane. Every neighborhood in Kiev got hit. And Kiev is huge, keep in mind, but every neighborhood. Russia firing 430 Shahed drones and 18 cruise ballistic missiles at the capital and surrounding oblasts. The assault killed at least 6 civilians in Kyiv, 2 more in Chernomorsk, and injured over 35 people, including a pregnant woman. Missile debris struck multiple districts, damaged residential buildings, cars, and a diplomatic site as well, the Azerbaijani embassy. Power outages were reported across Kyiv and Odessa oblasts. I mean, this is scale of attacks. It's deliberate saturation strike meant to overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses and exploit munition shortages as well. And of course, to make sure Ukrainian people don't want to live, basically, to bomb Ukraine into the Middle Ages. Civilian impact, I mean, casualties across nine districts, fires and infrastructure damage, including foreign diplomatic property, signal on escalation in Russia's disregard for international norms. The attack coincides with intensified Russian ground operations in Donetsk, and Moscow maintains pattern of this aerial terror immediately after territorial gains stall. Sorry. Ukraine did intercept the majority of drones, but exhaustion of NASAMS and Patriot interceptors forced reliance on machine guns and drones for downing Shaheds. As you guys know, Ukrainian army, they've been shooting sound Shahed drones with machine guns. I mean, that's, you only see this kind of stuff in movies, but this is reality, Ukrainian reality. So yeah, Russia's assault on Kyiv is not a military operation. It's a psychological warfare aimed at shaking the capital, forcing resource depletion, and signaling to the West that Moscow can still escalate at will. But failed strategic effect shows Ukraine's resilience and Russia's reliance on quantity over capability. All right. To a little bit of funnier news to kind of lighten up the mood, I do want to show you a video. Let me share my screen. Yep. So I'll play it again, but Russia created their own humanoid robots, and well, it seems drunk. Guess you create what you are. But I mean, did you guys see the video? I'm just checking if you guys saw the video. By the way, I'm reading a question from iJetty. How fast can Iran produce Shahed drones? I'm not sure how fast Iran can do it, but now Russia is producing the Iranian drones. They do it in-house, and Russia produces them real quick, large volumes. But yeah, that robot, they created an AI. I don't know what they were. I mean, I guess you create what you are, and you see these like guys too. They seem drunk. The people that were working on the stage trying to cover it up, and they couldn't even cover it up. That's just Russians for you, Russian creatures. Russian creatures creating humanoid robots. That's what you get. A drunk AI robot, I guess, that can't even walk. But I gotta say, I'd rather have Russians create these drunken robots than actually like create some like evil robot army. They're not that smart, but I think that's something that China would probably do. They don't have the tech. They're Russia. All the people are gone, all the, you know, tech scientists guys, like anybody skilled is gone. They either left or perished. Let's put it this way. Let me play it again, because it's one for the books. I don't know. Okay, I can't get it onto the screen. Let's keep going. Right. Kyiv imposes new sanctions on Russian officials and propaganda publishers. On November 9th, Ukraine imposed fresh sanctions on 8 senior Kremlin figures, including Kirill Dmitriev, Putin's special investment envoy, and 5 Russian publishing houses accused of spreading war propaganda and supporting Moscow's aggression. Ukraine's sanctions list will also seek international cooperation to block the distribution of the publisher's literature, such as Amazon. This is fantastic news, by the way, because these propaganda books or the books that they publish is all of their made up history, all of Russian narratives about the war, um, genocidal propaganda, basically. So this is very, very important. So targeting voices and financiers, Dmitriev sanctioned for spreading propaganda and attracting Russian investments into key sectors of foreign economies. Publishing houses included for direct links to war messaging and incitement. Ukraine is pressuring global tech platforms to stop sales of their content, basically. This comes as Ukraine intensifies narrative warfare alongside kinetic operations. So, good, stepping up, reinforcing the point. This is a full spectrum war. It's a war on all fronts. And this shows also the significance for EU and US, first, how it's done. And it shows Ukraine is not only fighting on the ground, but cleaning its own kind of rear yard and engaging and in information warfare. And take notes, because Russian information, disinformation, propaganda is everywhere, in every corner of the world. And the thing is, if you know about it, it's most likely not interested in you because it targets people who don't know that it's propaganda. So that's something that we have to make more people aware of. Yeah, and it also weakens Russia's soft power lines abroad. Less effective propaganda means fewer, of course, overseas sympathizers and harder recruitment of proxies, let's put it this way. And it boosts Ukraine's credibility, increases pressure on tech platforms and global publishing, sets precedent for worldwide coordination and blocking Moscow's influence machines. All right, let's keep going. EU prepares 20th sanctions package against Russia. It should be ready within a month. Ukraine announced that the European Union's 20th round of sanctions against Russia is to be finalized within a month. This follows the 19th package approved in October and will reportedly include restrictions on crypto platforms, banks, aiding sanctions evasion, and illegal oil transport networks. The 20th package will move beyond travel bans, which is what it was the 19th package that had some travel bans to Russians. But it's going to hit crypto platforms, banks in third countries facilitating Russia's shadow fleet and energy revenue pipelines. But yeah, Ukraine publicly is pushing for faster EU action. Those Europeans are really damn slow. And yeah, I mean, time is running out, especially for Moscow. But we can't drag our feet anymore. Because now we're dealing with Russia. Russia has nothing to lose except gain more sanctions. That's why it's holding on so fast. But at this point, but yeah, also this the sanctions package puts Russia's war economy under direct pressure, hitting revenue, finance, and evasion network strikes, which is the root of Moscow's capacity to continue the war. It also sends a message to global banks, traders, entities that assist Russia face real consequences. And it will increase the cost of doing business with Muscovites. All right, let's move on. Russian territorial gains accelerate. 165 square miles in 4 weeks. According to the Institute for the Study of War, in the 4-week period from October 14th to November 11th, Russian forces gained 165 square miles of Ukrainian territory. Okay. Up from 154 square miles in the previous 4-week period. Basically, Russia gained 59 square miles. They're losing 7,000 people a week. Sorry, a day. A day. Is it worth it? For Russia, it is, but the cost is. I think I said this last week. The head guy of the Ukrainian army for drones, he said for one Ukrainian, it's 1,000 Russians, dead Russians. That's, I mean, that's insane. Even if Russia does have the Norks and whoever else, it's still this meat grinder is insane. How many people they're losing? Those are huge numbers. Of course, Moscow claimed it as huge progress. They took it as a huge win, sold it to their people, like, look, we're winning here. But I mean, these gains, I mean, how long it took them to do that. And for Ukraine, strategically, it's obviously better to fall back, basically. There's nothing there. I'm not sure about strategy-wise, war strategy, so no, I'm gonna stay away from talking about that, but that's from what I've been listening to um, and reading about. So I'm not like a war channel, war strategy channel. So I don't want to say anything wrong or read some kind of misinformation or I'm gonna leave that to the professionals in that area. Russia now controls approximately 19% of Ukraine's territory. That's including pre-2022 occupied areas. Like, why is this? What are you doing this for? Like, it's not land that they want. Obviously, we know why they want to see Ukraine wiped out. But to lose that many of their people, oh my gosh! And also, I wish I had this prepared for you guys. There's a video of the Orc army entering Prakrovsk, and it looks like a Mad Max Eastern European edition with the orcs entering. It's so ridiculous. They're like so busted up. They're entering on like busted motorcycles, like busted, like doesn't have doors, cars. Like it's literally Mad Max Eastern Europe. I wish I had that video. Maybe after we run through this, I can quickly find it. Insane. Okay, so this is actually really, sorry, one second. Okay. Um, so this is fresh news. Ukrainian intelligence sabotages Trans-Siberian line, which is 6,600 kilometers inside Russia. On November 13th, Ukraine's HUR military intelligence reported a sabotage operation on the Trans-Siberian Railway near the village of Sosnovka in Khvarabravsk Krai, about 6,600 kilometers from Ukraine. Amazing. An explosion derailed a freight train on a key logistics corridor used by Russia to move weapons and ammunition from North Korea and other suppliers toward the European theater. The blast hit a section of track used for military cargo, halting traffic and forcing emergency repairs on one of Russia's most strategically important rail arteries. HUD says the route was used to transport North Korean munitions and other war cargo towards Western Russia and the occupied Ukrainian territories. The operation demonstrates Ukraine's ability to project sabotage deep inside Russia, far beyond the usual border or Black Sea strikes. It comes amid Russians' intensified assaults on Ukraine's grid and cities, signaling that logistics targets at home are now fair game. Zelensky did warn them. It will get worse. So, yeah, Ukraine isn't just absorbing blows, it's cutting Russia's supply veins on the far side of the map. The deeper the damage to logistics, the more fragile Moscow's illusion of limitless manpower and ammunition becomes. If you guys watched my last video on the Russian collapse, I started calling Russia the paper bear. Remember how Trump called Russia paper tiger? And then Russia spent like a day proving they're like, we're not a paper tiger, we're a bear. Grr. Okay, you're a paper bear. So now I call them paper bear. All right, let's talk about this. Operation Midas, an Erguatom corruption scandal that's been huge. But it's huge because it's happening in Ukraine's energy crisis. Um, while Russia strikes Ukraine's energy infrastructure. So I personally find this to be a bit too perfectly timed out, but it's just it's very weird. But let's run through this. So Ukraine's National Anti-Corruption Bureau NABU unveiled Operation Midas, which is a 15-month investigation into systematic corruption at state nuclear operator Energoatom. Investigators documented 10 to 15% kickbacks demanded from contractors and tied the scheme to key energy officials and businessmen. The scandal breaks as Russian strikes have already destroyed 60% of Ukraine's gas production and severely damaged power infrastructure, worsening blackouts nationwide. All right. NABU collected over 1,000 hours of surveillance and seized documents showing contractors openly discussing mandatory bribes to work with Energoatom. Kickbacks inflated the cost of fuel and repair contracts at a time when Ukraine needed every dollar hryvnia for grid resilience. A related wider probe involves searches at properties tied to former energy minister Herman Halushenko and businessman Timur Mindich. This is where it gets really bad, which is Zelensky's former business partner. Basically, he was Zelensky's producer of Servant of the People. Or, sorry, Quartal 95 and his production company. This betrayal, man. But the scandal erupts as Russian attacks have destroyed 60% of gas production and forced Ukraine to spend nearly 2 billion importing gas for winter. Also, so it's a lot of money basically, and they are saying that actually this money was going to Russia in the end. So at the exact moment Russia is trying to black out Ukraine from the outside, at the same time internal corruption happens and blows up, quietly draining the system from within. That's what I'm saying. This timing, I don't think is a coincidence. The blackouts are tough, guys. I was just talking to my family in Kharkiv. It will get colder. I mean, if I would live in Ukraine, I would be pissed. I don't know how these businessmen, I mean, it's corruption, but it's Russian corruption. The mentality of this corruption is Russian. I don't know what kind of cold-blooded person you have, well, Putin, but living in Ukraine, by the way, the Zelensky's friend, not friend anymore, Zelensky said you can't have friends during wartime, but he left the country like hours before this hit the news, basically. So he's gone. But how can you live in Ukraine and steal money from Ukrainians who are suffering through this and then essentially give it to Russia and be friends with Zelensky? Oh my gosh. Like this is betrayal. Like I'm on all forms. Obviously Ukrainians are very angry that wartime energy money was skimmed while civilians sat in the cold apartments, basically. Kremlin propaganda is weaponizing this like crazy, framing Ukraine as corrupt, just as corrupt as before, which is not true. Also, Orban kicked in on this. He said, "Ha, look, Ukraine is corrupt, and this corruption scandal." And meanwhile, Hungary is the most corrupt. Meanwhile, Orban is stealing EU money, taking EU subsidies, and taking Russian money. And that pig dares to say Ukraine is corrupt. I mean, this is a joke. I hope he goes soon, and the people of Hungary win, because they got the power. They've been having huge, huge protests against him, against Orban, against Russia. So I hope Orban has to hide in Russia soon, basically. But looking at the bright side, a high-profile investigation which Zelensky is doing in the middle of a war shows that the Ukrainian government, the state, is willing to hit powerful figures and look into this and change, not just small things. And this actually strengthens Ukraine's case for EU funds for frozen Russian assets and post-war recovery packages. I'm just trying to think of how I can articulate some things that are, I don't know, just... Zelensky had nothing to do with this, basically. I don't think he didn't know. Like, every country has corruption. There's no such thing as the perfect country. But there is such thing as a pretty damn near perfect leader, which is Zelensky. And he's dealing with it. Amazing. Like, I don't know what leader, especially now, that the people be like, even democratic leaders, let's put it this way, that if the people want something changed, the leader changes it. That's democracy, but it's not what anyone else has it. It doesn't happen like that. No, none of these democratic leaders in the West, they don't really listen to the people. Zelensky Ukrainian government, they do. Very much so. So yeah, right now, which I think is happening, Zelensky kind of has to prove his loyalty to the country and not his old business ties. If he handles this decisively, which to me looks he is, it really strengthens his legitimacy. If not, it's gonna become a problem. But in my opinion, he's doing a good job. Yeah, I'm more worried about this, about Russia exploiting this to the T. You know, they're It's not good because here in the States, we don't exactly have the brightest people with the brightest bulbs, let's put it this way, that they don't think critically for themselves. So there's going to be a lot more of, oh, Zelensky is corrupt again, just when MAGA was like starting to be more pro-Ukrainian. There was a great article in SGW last week about that more MAGA actually start to support Zelensky. But after this, of course, Russia um, is gonna turn that around. And those people don't think critically for themselves. If Zelensky would be so corrupt, he would have been corrupted by now. Russia would either bought him out, somebody, he would have ran out. He would have left his country by now. And it's crazy how this is being covered here in the United States, Western media, Ukraine's internal problems, which they should deal with and will deal with, but it's being covered so much. Like, we have our own issues, like, Epstein list, like, that was crazy. Um, the emails that came out um, about Trump giving blowjobs to, like, Baba, Bill Clinton, or whoever it could be. I mean, like, crazy shit is happening. Um, People losing their SNAP benefits, people are going hungry. Like, you're talking about Ukraine's internal problems. Like, yes, I'm just reading some of your comments now. Alex, I saying currently Ukraine is doing a better job at fighting corruption than the US. But but that's a low bar in 2025. I agree. Okay. Let's keep going. On November 12th, Ukrainian forces struck the Starobievsky thermal power plant in Russian-occupied Donetsk Oblast, temporarily cutting power to parts of occupied territory and disrupting energy supplies that support Russia's occupation administration. The attack is part of the broader Ukrainian campaign against Russian energy. They strike Ukraine, Ukraine strikes Russia back. Infrastructure that targeted refineries and power assets since October. This Starobievsky has been a major generating asset for the occupation regime since 2014. Hitting it directly undermines the stability of Russia's proxies administrations there. The strike follows Ukrainian attacks on Russian refineries, which have already knocked out a significant share of Moscow's refining capacity. This marks a shift from hitting only Russian territory to also targeting occupation zone infrastructure that powers Russian military logistics and control systems. Ukraine frames the operation as a legitimate response to Russia's systematic destruction of Ukraine's own energy grid. So, if Russia turns Ukraine's lights off, Ukraine will start switching off the lights in occupied territories inside Russia itself and Moscow. Energy is now a battlefield. It's not just a utility bill. So how does this hurt Russia's occupation machine? Occupation authorities struggle to provide basic services, basically fueling resentment and resistance among the locals as well. Military bases and logistics hubs in occupied Donetsk face outages and generator dependence. Um, this reinforces sanctions by other means. Every destroyed plant or refinery is a de facto sanctions enforcement with explosives, complements EU, US sanctions packages by physically reducing Russia's energy output. And it raises the cost also of holding the territory. Occupied regions become more expensive to maintain, requiring fuel imports and repair crews under constant threat. And at some point, Moscow has to choose power Moscow or power its stolen territories. And that's the strategy. Also, this signals to locals there that Ukraine does have reach. People under occupation see that Kiev can still touch the infrastructure Moscow relies on. And this keeps morale and hope alive that occupation is not permanent. And it strengthens Ukraine's argument for offensive weapons too. Demonstrates how precision strikes on energy military infrastructure can shift the strategic balance without mass casualties. Romania's skies are breached again when Russia sent 119 drones in one night between the evening of November 10th and the morning of November 11th. Russia launched 119 attack UAVs at Ukraine, mainly Shahed drones from launch points in Oryol, Bryansk, Kursk, Milyevo, and occupied Crimea. Ukraine's Air Force reported downing only 53 drones, less than half. Debris and further strikes hit 9 Ukrainian oblasts, damaging energy infrastructure and homes. That same night, drone debris from an attack on Ukraine's Danube ports crashed near Romanian village of Grindu and once again breaching NATO airspace. I want to know, I wonder if we can do a poll. The question is, do you think Russia will attack NATO in the next 3 years? So there you go. Now we have a poll. Let me know. I think they will, regardless, and it won't matter if Ukraine falls or not. I think they'll go on onto NATO territory. Uh, Even if Ukraine stands, they'll keep going. They're not gonna stop. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't think. So we'll see. But yeah, let me know, guys, in the chat. There's a poll. Also, we have Zelensky, who visited Kherson under drone fire on anniversary 3 years after its liberation, which was on November 11th. I mean, Zelensky visited very dangerous area, but it just shows what kind of leader he is. The visit came as Kherson endures basically near daily Russian drone and artillery attacks from the opposite of the bank of the Dnipro River. This is where the human safari is. This is where it's like a video game, but reality, where the enemy, Russians, they they go after civilians. They hunt civilians with drones. It's terrifying. Also, a couple of days before, Angelina Jolie went to bring light towards this war crime, and it was so fantastic of her to do. I will do a video on this. That the next video that I'm doing is going to be on basically on 190 recorded 1,000, sorry, recorded registered Russian war crimes. And yeah, so stay tuned for that. And it's gonna actually this coming week, it's also going to be the Holodomor Remembrance Day of the famine that happened. So due to Russia. So it's going to be a heavy week, but we got to talk about these things because Russia tries really hard to erase their war crimes. And the world must know. So let's talk about now US and Russia. Brinkmanship and nuclear gambit. Um, from November 8th into mid-November, tensions between Lavrov-led Russian Foreign Ministry and the US administration flared, centering on nuclear weapons testing and conflict escalation over Ukraine. Lavrov stated that Russia is working on proposals following Putin's directive to explore possible nuclear tests in response to Trump administration signaling its intention to resume US nuclear testing. Alongside that, Lavrov warned that US must refrain from actions that could escalate the conflict to a new level in Ukraine, implicitly threatening that Russia will immediately strike any Western-made weapons or supply lines used by Ukraine. Nuclear test threats. Lavrov confirmed work is underway to prepare proposals for Russian nuclear tests, coming after Trump's announcement of US testing on an equal basis, tit for tat. I mean, this Russian posturing. It's what Russia does. They threaten nukes. The only difference here is that we have a kind of insane administration in US right now. Also have Trump. I've been saying this. Oh my gosh. I've been saying this. There is compromise on Trump. Most likely, um, Epstein information. And yesterday we got the emails came out, and on the emails it said something like, um, ask Putin if he has photos of Trump blowing Bubba. Right. Interesting. But I mean, we all guessed it, I guess, but I've been saying this. Look, he's blackmailing Trump. Like when Trump says like about Ukraine and like all those crazy things, now he's a little better, but or every time Putin calls him and he just flips right away. Of course it was blackmail. Of course. Oh, that's hilarious. Salt of the Red Earth says, from what I have heard, Trump has small rockets. That's so funny. Yeah. Thank you so much, Papa Dutch, with a super chat. Russia said it already. They say Russia has no borders. Yep, that's very true. They have huge um, billboards hanging that basically anywhere where there's like a Russian step foot, it's Russian land. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know why they can't even take care of their own land. It's a toilet. It used to be a gas station. Now it's just a toilet. It's not like they can rebuild or build anyway. They don't even have the people for it. They're all gone, left, or died. And they're not producing more people like great things. They're producing military. Uh there was an article, I don't have it in my news brief, but that Russia is like preparing like a 500,000 kids for their military, like very small age, like it, but like insane number for future wars. That's why I asked you guys, do you think Russia will attack NATO next 3 years? But because Russia is preparing for it, it's not like they're like, nah, it's just gonna we're gonna stop at Ukraine. What are they preparing for? This many kids, stolen kids, Ukrainian stolen kids. They're definitely preparing. Speaking of Russia-US relations, I'm gonna remind you there's my latest video on Russian collapse is up, came out yesterday, so it's new. So please watch it after the live stream. Also like and comment under the video would really help. But take a look at it. Hopefully you like it and watch the whole thing. And let me know in the comments what you think. So it's actually a huge, huge topic right now. YouTube, at least, like I'll tell you guys this, YouTube loves videos on Russian collapse. So I'll be making more videos on Russian collapse, but I could see it in my like analytics. Uh, YouTube for like an hour or two, they went to like uh advertise that video, but like they do this thing, it's weird, but like it's on their budget, and they went to advertise it. I was like, what? So, but yeah, it's a big topic. So we'll definitely be doing something that's on this topic, basically. Wow, Papa Dutch coming in with a $20 super chat saying the problem with Russia is they ruin what they have without thought of the future. They don't need more territory, they need the intelligence to make something of what they have, what they already have, but they never will. Totally agree. Thank you so much. By the way, thank you for your support. Really, really appreciate it. I mean, listen, Russia is done. I don't know how, if Russia knows this, that Russia is done, but you know, when you get, let's put it this way, Russia is terminally ill. When you're terminally ill, just a matter of time, but you're gonna, fall apart basically, and Russia's gonna die. It's gonna fall. It's just a matter of time. There's just no coming back for Russia. And there's still people who are like, who think that there's a way that still Russia can survive, get through this. There is no way. I don't care what kind of analyst, military guy you are, Russia isn't surviving this. It's gonna fall one way or another. Russia will never be, it's done. It's done. It's dead. As good as dead. Dead dead bear walking. It's a dead bear walking. So, sharp drop in Russian fossil fuel revenues. According to the latest monthly monitoring, Russia's fossil fuel export revenues in October dropped to the lowest level since the full-scale invasion, averaging to 524 million a day, a 4% decline month on month. It underpins uh, the war funding machine that it's under strain. Russia is increasingly dependent on a kind of narrow set of buyers, China, India, and shadow tankers, making the sanctions and strikes strategy tighter. Um, so this kind of bad news, troubling news. Ukraine risks losing 5.2 billion in EU aid over reform delays. A monitoring report warns that Ukraine may lose up to, it's close to 6 billion in EU financial support in 2025 if it fails to meet the reform benchmark. While you cover Ukraine's external war, this internal front, governance and reform is critical for the whole war effort and the credibility narrative. Oh man, I hope it's going to be a tough winter, and the next week is going to be very worrying. But at the same time, like I think it's insane. Why, like, why don't Why don't they tell this to Orban, the EU? You know, that's the most corrupt. It's not a country at war. I mean, Orban is the one who's stealing, and I mean, there's still, again, Ukraine is not that, in a grand scheme of things. It's Ukraine is just, it's a normal country. There's corruption everywhere. And I think Ukraine has been doing a phenomenal job at wartime to do this. Like, it's unheard of to do reforms, to take out Russian corruption. And I mean, it's Ukraine is going through so much. But maybe Ukraine is what the country that's gonna lead us into the new age, let's put it this way, a peaceful age. And we need to take notes from Ukraine. I really think so. Right, guys, I'm gonna close it off here. Maybe if you guys have any questions, I'll answer questions and call it a day. Thank you so much, SSW, with a super chat. Support Ukraine. West Coast is best coast. I agree, even though West Coast is wet coast right now. It's really bad. It's really wet here. Thank you. You know they exist with a super chat. Was there praise for Estonia Mark 1 baguettes yet? I don't know. Is that a missile? It sounds like a missile. Sounds like a French missile, but John, am I going to be on the shows later? Um, I don't know if there will be the shows later, and if there will be, um, it's going to be like a hangout. So no, but that's why you got to see me now. Where I had to run through the news. Guys, thank you so much, uh, everyone, for showing up and for, hanging out with me and listening to me uh, waffle and babble. I wish I got these live streams ready ahead of time, because the way I've written everything out, it was supposed to be for Ukraine updates, where it's more of a conversation and talking points, not me just, continuously, giving the news. So, but I think it worked out well. But yeah, drop your questions right now. I'll see if I can answer them. Oh, Alvin Archer is asking, does Ukraine have a national animal such as England having the lion? Yes, Ukraine does have an animal, and so it's a bird. It's a stork. It's a stork, and it's, stork is kind of renewal and birth. Um, and yeah, I think it's beautiful. And there's lots of storks in Ukraine as well. If you guys don't know what a stork is a bird with like a very long, skinny beak. Usually it brings babies. That's how babies are made, as that a stork brings a baby, and at least that's what they tell us in Ukraine. So, but Ukraine actually has a lot of animals, like wild animals that are only in Ukraine, like wild horses, like these type. of wild horses. They kind of look like a mix of zebra and a donkey, but they're completely wild. They've never been tamed, and they're like little. You think wild horses like these like beautiful beings, but it's like these like donkey zebras just kind of waddling around, but they're so wild too. So, and there's a lot of animals that only live in Ukraine, unfortunately, with Russia's ecocide as well. A lot of them have gone endangered and are gone as well. So, oh man. Fred Bear, thank you so much coming in with a super chat. Keep bringing the heat. Thank you. I will try. I'll do my best. I try really, really hard to make videos for you guys. And check out my latest video. It's pinned at the top of the chat. And there'll be a new one next week as well. You know what Ukraine, the animal that Ukraine has is like, which like the West doesn't really have it. Because I remember as a kid, I used to like catch them, and it's like a hedgehog. It's like spike. It's so cute. It's like a hamster, but with spikes. But it's so cute. And I used to like, underneath, like pick them up. But like United States or Canada, they don't have them. And in Ukraine, they kind of just like run like kind of wild. Martin is saying that there's these horses in the Toronto Zoo, the Ukrainian wild donkey slash zebra horses, Ukrainian horses. I wish, let me see if I can show you these guys really quick. Yeah, there they are. Okay. The mystery of Chernobyl's wild horse. They're so funny. Okay. See these guys. These guys that I was talking about. The mystery of Chernobyl's wild horses. It's interesting. Yeah, there it is. Oh, for many decades, they were considered the last truly wild horse in the world. Wow, I didn't know that. They look much, much more like horse-like in these pictures. This is like, I mean, it's a funny looking horse, but not like they're like, see, there's pictures like they're just so stubby, you know. I think horses are amazing, but oh yeah, like this guy right here. Oh my God, what is that? What is that? It's like a midget, a horse midget, the midget of the horses. Oh wait, sorry, you guys aren't seeing. Okay, now you're seeing this. This is the midget of the horses. Oh my god, they're so cute. All right, let me do. Let me close out and let you guys have a great rest of your weekend. But before you go, uh, yeah, go watch the new video, please. After the stream, it's pinned in the chat. It's about Russia collapsing. It's important, don't miss it. And yeah, this war has become more than lines on a map. It's a test of what the free world is made of. Ukraine isn't just holding a front line, it's holding the line between light and dark ages. And as missiles fall, as cities rebuild, and as soldiers fight with what little they have, they're proving something the Kremlin creatures will never understand. Freedom doesn't surrender, it multiplies. So, guys, keep sharing Ukrainian stories, keep speaking, keep standing. You're not just viewers, you're co defenders in the information war. I'd like to say thank you to the mods. Thank you for showing up always. You guys are amazing. And uh, thank you to the viewers, of course. You're the reason uh, this channel keeps going. And yeah, and to every person who tunes in week after week, video after video, who liked, who shared, who donated. Um, you're not just supporting a show, you're supporting the story of a nation that refuses to die. Because if Ukraine falls, the free world falls with it. The idea of the free world. And every democracy, every liberty we take for granted becomes fair game for tyranny again. So, what you're doing is very, very important. And I'll leave you with this: be fierce, be brave like Ukraine. God bless America, and Slava Ukraini. Bye, guys.